Well, we're past the 48-hour mark for my 30,000 word book, but we are tools at 18, which isn't bad for 2 days worth of work. Oh wait, I'm on my third day, right? Yeah. Anyways, so 72. We're not to 72 hours yet. And I'm going to read for about an hour and then upload the video. This is probably the second to the last read through for the first part of the book. Sarah knew this part of the park. The evergreen branches hung low, and the ones that provided dappled shade in the summer were now bare and would let the sun through to warm the body in the daylight. But now it was dark, not even a moon, and she had a decision to make. To go home and face scolding from her parents, to sit here and be subjected to whatever wandered by, or find an all-night cafe and do the same, or head to work and try to pick up an extra shift. Someone would have called in sick in such a large hotel. She used the inside of her shirt to wipe the tears from her eyes. She would not go home. She could live in the dorms at work and go to school. She only had a year left, well, a year and a half, and she'd be of age, with a diploma, and no longer subject to the whims of her parents or the needs of her younger brother. Skirting the main streets and keeping to the alley, well out of the view of customers, she bent to clean the mud from her heels and dust what she could off her dress. Oh, and it's me off. She could do nothing for the red, raised mark on her face. She could do nothing for the red raised mark on her face, or the purple that must be developing around her eye. There was a spot so horribly tender behind her ear, at least it would not be visible, but she could feel the lump growing. She pulled her hair back into a severe bun at the nape of her neck and plastered a smile on her face. She entered, ignoring the concerned looks of the cooks and the busboy Billy, who had been particularly kind to her and became her best friend over the years, always making sure to share the leftover food. They did not mean, and this is why we're doing a read-through, need to know her troubles. Billy simply pulled a bag of frozen peaches out of the freezer and handed it to her. How about instead of simply, silently? I like that better. Silently pulled a bag of frozen peaches out of the freezer and handed it to her. She smiled at him. Thank you. But when he saw her put it on the side of her head, he pulled another frozen bag of fruit and made her go to the back. When he saw her put it on the side of her head, he pulled out another frozen bag of fruit, and made her go back into the coat room. Take a nap, you look horrible. I need to move into the dorm. I don't know if there's room. I'm gonna make that an is. There is room. That's a there is. I don't know if there's room. I'm willing to bunk with anyone. His eyebrows went up. Not you. Any girls. The boy's got a dream. She lay down on the bench with a wadded up coat for a pillow and the ice balanced on her wounds. When she woke, she panicked. P-A-N-I-C. Did I spell panic? Yeah. Where are we? Panicked. Okay. When she woke, she panicked for a moment, forgetting where she was, then searching desperately for the ice bags, worrying they'd make, how about not ice bags with the frozen, for the bags of fruit. That's it, bags of fruit. U-I-T. Okay, she panicked for a moment, forgetting where she was, then searched desperately for the bags of fruit, worrying they'd make a mess. But she had been removed. Oh, but they had been removed, and a jacket had been pulled across her. The small windows that we could say that ran. There you go. The small windows that ran across the top of the room were, wrong word, still painted in black of night, so she had not slept long. She finally searched for her phone, and of course it was dead. Maybe that was it. Never turn this phone back on. Get a new SIM card, a new number, and a new life. Yes, this is the one her parents paid for. She would get herself a new phone and keep the other until her parents turned it off. She shook herself and straightened her skirt again, starting to make her way out, but Billy stopped her. Stay in here and be quiet. Trusting Billy as she did what he asked of her, as he squished her into the corner where most of the jackets hung, and he placed one over her end. Let me say he here. He placed one over her head. Loud, deep male voices were getting closer. There's a redhead on the floor. She looks young enough. Sir, I'm sorry. It's not. The girl can't complain. I said I'd pay the girl $100,000 when the job's done. Sarah was well hidden and could not see, but could clearly hear. Billy held his head low, trying to remain unnoticed by the two large villains pushing through the room. I want a fresh one for him. Someone to get pregnant is better. Needs to be easily controlled. None of your regular girls will do. Mark. I really don't, sir. One of your serving girls will do. Sir, that's really not a service they provide. We provide. Here's an extra $10,000 for you. Make it a service you provide. One of the deep voices smacked the manager's face with a wad of cash. Sarah stirred slightly, and Billy shuffled on his feet to distract the large man. You boy, you must know which girls around here are clean. Sir, I know nothing about girls around here. I'm sorry, sir. Oh no? You don't want to make $10,000? Billy shook his head. Sorry, I don't know anyone. Another deep voice came from behind the first. We'll get one from the club. They're always ready to do that. That won't do. I need someone. Just go to the school and pick someone up. We need someone tonight, now. Angela didn't show. I don't know what she's thinking. Oh, I need to, Control C. Oh, wrong one. Close. I need to update this. Where's my current? Okay, I don't know where it is. I'll show you what I'm looking for. As I write, I take notes of people's names, ages, important things, room numbers, things that like you need to have the right piece of information, or you are not consistent through your book. It's kind of important. Angela did not show. Okay. Sorry, sir. I'll look for her again. Don't bother. I'll figure something out here without these people's help. We just need someone in room 802 tonight, now. Tonight, now. He's already had that. That's what's missing. Had the happy pills on board for half an hour at this point. Sarah had seen this sort of thing before, here at the hotel. here at the hotel. Obviously someone was being set up. A man's life was about to be ruined along with a young woman's. Even if they used a prostitute, someone already in the life. It really sounded like they were looking to ruin an innocent. No, two innocents. Sarah could be that innocent. She needed the money. She needed a way to escape from her family. Escape her. Oh, wait. Blah, 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 blah. No, two innocents. Sarah could be that innocent. I'm going to hit this. Enter. Sarah could be that innocent. She needed the money. She needed a way to escape her family. No, better if she could rescue the man, as she was sure he was much more valuable than anything these two vile men were offering. Sarah made a snap decision. She would go to that room and rescue that man. It was as simple as moving him next door or across the hall to make it look like he'd simply escaped. Billy would put the man's coat on and run down the stairs so it would look like he'd left the building. The two vile men finally had left the room, with the manager following close behind, and Billy collapsed on the bench. We're going to save him. We're going to save him now. Oh, I'm going to do this instead. Sarah emerged. E-M-E-R, emerged. D. I don't think I spelled emerged right. From the jackets. From the pile of J-A-C-K-E jackets. And clapped. C-L-A-P-P. Clapped Billy on the S-H-O-U-L shoulder. Period. There you go. Let's see. The two vile men finally had left the room, with the manager following close behind, and Billy collapsed on the bench. Sarah emerged in the pile of jackets. She'd been secreted in. I like that. That's a nice imagery. She had been S-E-C-R-E secreted in. That's good. Like an insect feeling then. Sarah emerged from the pile of jackets she'd been secreted in and clapped Billy with a Y on the shoulder. We're going to save him. We're going to save him now. What? No. What are you talking about, Sarah? The reason this is green is because I wanted to be able to find it again. When I scroll, there's a man in the room who's about to have his life shattered, and if they're spending that much money and if they're spending that much money and effort on him, the victim should give us an even greater reward. Don't you want a giant reward? Billy shook his head no. Sarah peeked out, making sure they were truly clear of the vile men. You're going to help me move him to another room. Then you're going to help me move him to another room, then put on his coat and anything that identifies him, comma, and you're going to run away down the back stairs. Take a train or a bus. Just tear off as far as you can, then ditch his clothing and circle back home. I will let you know where I have moved him after you've left. You can even join me in the room with our victim. It is foolproof. The bad guys will not look for him next door when they're tracking him across town. It is too dangerous for you to be in a room with a man, drugged or not. You don't have to worry about me. I've taken care of my brother and father all these years, so I can certainly handle one drugged man. It's Edie. Drug Edie. Drugged, spelled wrong. D-D, two U's, G's. Okay. You don't have to worry about me. I've taken care of my brother and father all these years, so I can certainly handle one drugged man. You have to be careful to not get caught too quickly. I don't think that's right. It is? Really? Okay. I will take them. I have taken care of my brother and father all these years, so I can certainly handle one drugged man. You have to be careful not to get caught too quickly. I will take them. It will. That's wrong. It will take them time to get the recordings from security and track track his escape. Sarah, this is too dangerous. That's it. I need to do something. I want that money, but I will not destroy a man for it. It is better to ask for the money as a savior. Sarah, this is crazy. No crazier than the life I already live. Sarah found a large, dark overcoat and slung it over Billy's back, and another for herself, grabbing a hat for him on the way out of the room, and plastered it on his head. Sarah, having spent the last 4 years in the hotel, and Billy even longer, knew every secret passage and discreet elevator between them and the 8th floor. Sarah undid the first 3 buttons of her blouse, exposing the small bow at the top of her pink bra, and then rethought it, buttoning her blouse back up all the way to the top. She pulled her hair down and divided it over her shoulders so that it made her look younger. She had rethought her strategy. I don't think that needs to be there. She turned, that's it, we just need to get rid of that. Boom, because we already talked about her this was something I moved. See right here, she's rethinking it right here. Then rethought it, that's all, it's right there. Buttoning her blouse back up all the way to the top, she pulled her hair down and divided it over her shoulders so that it made her look younger. She turned Billy towards the guest elevator, making a point of keeping her head down. She should have put a hat on herself, but she needed to look the innocent, scared look. I'm gonna put the innocent, scared girl on the way up. If they were to have, let me reread this. She turned Billy towards the guest elevators, making a point of keeping her head down. She should have put a hat on herself, but she needed to look the innocent, scared girl on the way up if they were to pull this off. A giant wrinkle Sarah had not anticipated as they exited the elevator. Boom. A giant wrinkle appeared. A-P-P-E-A-R, appeared as a giant wrinkle appeared Sarah had not anticipated as they exited the elevator. There were men outside 802, 3 large men. The ones, wait, let me read this here. 3 large men. The kind, that's it. K-I-N, kind, one might find outside a nightclub with lumps under their jackets. It's lumps in their jackets, not under, in. Okay, let's see. Let me reread this. A giant wrinkle appeared Sarah had not anticipated as they exited the elevator. There were men outside 802, 3 large men, the kind one might find outside a nightclub with lumps on their jackets. This should not be a difficult move. Sarah, we can't. Sure we can. They said they wanted an innocent, clean girl. I need to look scared too. Wrap your fingers around the back of my neck as you walk me down the hall and push me into the room. Just say you brought your sister. I can't do this. Yes, you can. Sarah draped the overcoat over her shoulders rather than pushing her arms through and forced Billy to hold her by the scruff of her neck. We don't have much time, Billy. She placed her hand over Billy's on her neck, dragging him along with her, giving the illusion she was being forced, rather than forcing Billy down the hall. Rather than being the one forcing Billy. There, that's better. Okay, let me go back. We don't have much time, Billy. She placed her hand over Billy's on her neck, dragging him along with her, giving the illusion she was being forced, rather than being the one forcing Billy down the hall. Their movement caught the attention of the large men. She marched forward, eyes down. Billy said nothing, frozen in front of these in front of the three large men. Sarah elbowed Billy, and he said in too high a register, "I brought my sister. I need to go in to make sure the deed is done." The large men simply parted and opened the door for them. As soon as the door closed behind Billy, he collapsed against the wall. However, Sarah was focused on her mission. Locking the door, she threw off the overcoat and searched the room. There was a camera set up. Sarah took it from the stand and tossed it in the tub and started the shower, then searched the room for less obvious devices. Definitely not a voluntary situation for the man sprawled across the bed. He was still fully clothed and tall. His arms reached the top of the bed, but his knees were bent and dangled off the end. "Billy, I can't move him. Help me." She crawled up next to him. Instead of him, I'm going to say, because we've already said he's tall. Nope, I'll leave it alone for now. She crawled up next to him and smacked the man in the face. "You need to wake up," she hissed to the lumbering giant. He merely grunted. She smacked him again. "Sir, you have to wake up now. Billy, get me a wet washcloth from the bathroom." She flipped in the air a bit to make it cooler and smacked him with the cold, wet towel across his face. That made him stir a bit more. "I don't know how we're going to get him past those men outside. We're not getting him anywhere until I can wake him up. He's far too large for the two of us to move without his assistance. Go get a pitcher of water. Let's just drown him. He'll wake up if he thinks he's drowning." "Sarah, just do what I say. No matter how drunk my father is, drowning always wakes him up." Billy brought her an ice bucket filled with water. Sarah lay the wet towel over the man's Sarah laid the wet towel over the man's face and started pouring the water over the cloth. The man immediately started swinging and kicking. "See, I told you it would work." He was not conscious or coherent, but they were able to get him to sit at the edge of the bed. She stripped off his coat and handed it to Billy. "Put your coat on him." "It won't fit him." "Then try mine. See, then, I want to put a then in there. THEN, try. Because that's what I'm saying out loud. It's got to be in there. "Put your coat on him." "It won't fit him." "Then try mine. It's bigger, and don't forget your hat." The man swayed, but Billy kept his hands on the man's shoulder to keep him from tipping over again. See if he still has his phone on him, or other electronics, his watch too, and toss them in the tub. "Billy, give me your phone." Sarah dialed another close friend from the kitchen, Sam, and explained briefly their situation and her plan. He was to position himself and wait for her text. She guaranteed this would clear his debts to her. She heard a few splashes and the shower stopped. "Billy, help me get him up. He has to be able to move under his own power." The two of them managed to get the giant to his feet, but he was weak and stumbled. They dropped him on the bed again. "Billy, put on his shoes." "What do I do with mine?" "Take them with you. Dump his shoes too. Keep nothing of his." They got the giant to his feet again, and Sarah had him pressed up against the wall behind the door. She gave Billy a smile and pulled him in for a hug, whispering in his ear, "Are you ready to run?" Billy nodded. She handed Billy back his phone and he sent the text. A few moments later, there was a large clatter in the hall outside the door, and Billy did as he was instructed. Sam peered around the door, and he helped her move the stumbling giant man. They simply went across the hall through the first door she opened, though the first door she opened was occupied. Before bothering to move him further, she pressed the man against the door of the occupied room while Sam ran down to the next to make sure it was currently empty. She locked the door behind the two of them. Sam continued to clean up the spilled food in the hall. Outside the door, the sound of heavy breathing and angry voices shouting through a phone. "Check the security cameras. He has to be somewhere." "What car did he get into?" Sarah collapsed on the bed next to the slumbering giant. That meant Billy had been convincing in his escape and should be safely on his way across town. She looked at her phone, and it was still dead. That would need to be her next priority. There were not theirs. There were still noises in the hallway, comma. So she just had to sit tight and remain quiet with the lights off. So she just had to, there you go. There were still noises in the hallway, so she just had to sit tight and remain quiet with the lights off. The man next to her was starting to mumble in his sleep, and one of his arms was moving. His eyes were still shut. She crawled up to his head and tried to look at his face, checking his breathing. His heavy arm landed across her back, knocking her to the bed. She quickly crawled away and decided listening at the door was safer. Oh, that's not spelled correctly. Listening, that's not spelled right. There needs to be, there it is. Is that the right word? I don't think it's the right word. Listening. Okay, Tina needs to do this because her brain's not working. Okay, good. I got the right word. She crawled away and, here we go. She crawled up to his head and tried to look at his face, checking his breathing. His heavy arm landed across her back, knocking her to the bed. She quickly crawled away and decided listening at the door was safer. She pressed her ear tight, but there was still the sounds of heavy feet and something about the smart bastard. It finally grew quiet. It finally grew quiet, and she just... Oh, it finally grew quiet. And just as she... finally grew quiet, and just... That's it. I'm saying it, but it's not there. Just as she... flopped. P.P. flopped on the couch. A light knock at the door. A light knock at the door. The door. And housekeeping sounded through. Oh, I see. Let me reread this, because okay. It finally grew quiet, and just as she but just, it needs to be a but. It finally grew quiet, but just as she flopped on the couch, a light knock and housekeeping sounded through the door, making her jump out of her skin. There, that's much better. I'm going to reread it because I'm going to make sure I've got all the actual words in there. She quickly crawled away and decided listening at the door was safer. She pressed her ear tight, but there were still the sounds of heavy feet and something about the smart bastard. It finally grew quiet, but just as she flopped on the couch, a light knock and housekeeping sounded through the door, making her jump out of her skin. She threw herself on the floor, trying to get under the bed just as the door opened. The squeaky wheels, lowercase w, of the laundry cart entering the room. Sunrise open. The squeaky wheels of the laundry cart entering the room. There needs to be a word sound in there. No, the squeaky wheels of the laundry cart entered the room, and the door shut. There. The computer was trying to tell me to do that, but I could not manage it. What page are we on? Just 12. The squeaky wheels of the laundry cart entered the room and the door shut. Sarah, are you in here? Sarah, are you still in here? Sam, thank God. We don't have time. There are still men searching room by room. He is not going to fit in that laundry basket. No, he's going to push the laundry basket you right inside. The man isn't even awake yet. Try walking him again. Sarah climbed up on... Oh, waking. Walking. Try waking him again. Sarah climbed up in the bed and shook him. His arms flapped, and he mumbled. She cocked her arm back. She cocked her arm back and slapped him across the cheek. Still no more than a few incoherent words. Maybe we can get him in there. No, he's too big. But they don't know that. She put his overcoat so it showed just a little hanging out of the side of the cart, and threw the baseball hat, and threw in the inside the cart. And this needs to be lowercase and comma, and inside the cart, and actually no comma, just boom. Okay, she put his overcoat so it showed just a little hanging out of the side of the cart, and threw in the baseball hat. Start pushing it down the hall, but make it look like it takes you a lot of effort. Take it out and leave it where we get our smoke breaks. There's no surveillance there, and leave it everything. What are you going to do? I heard they're going room to room. Leave that to me, but if you can come back here to this room as soon as you're all done with a charge cord, and bring Sally and yourself, both wearing another big jacket. I'm going to break this sentence up because it's too crazy. But if you come back, but if you can come back here to this room as soon as you're done with the charge cord. Period. Bring Sally and yourself, both wearing another big jacket. Sam looked at her incredulously. Just trust me. Do it as quickly as you can. If Sally's not available, ask someone else my height, my hair color. I didn't write that, the hair color, comma. Tell them I only need 1 hour, and I'll pay them or owe them big time. Now go and struggle. Sarah crouched by the door and listened. There were no noises beyond the squeaking of his wheels, and then they too faded. Sarah began to undress the man, leaving on his boxers. I could say sans his boxers, but I'm not going to get there. Sarah began undressing the man, leaving his boxers on him. That's it, his boxers. I don't even know if I need all those extra words. Sarah began to undress the man, leaving his boxers, comma, leaving his boxers. I don't know if that's right either. That's the sentence I think is weird, but I kind of like the way it's brief. Sarah crouched by the door and listened, but there were no noises. Beyond the squeaking of his wheels, and then they too faded. Sarah began to undress the man, leaving his boxers. She stripped down to her underwear and bra, then unplugged and placed the lamp next to him in the bed, before screwing up the sheets. She paced the room and occasionally listened at the door. Just as she pressed her ear to the door for the 5th time, there was a small knock before it opened. She locked the door behind Sam and Sally. There's a group of them at the end of the hall. Sarah was thankful it was Sally. She knew how to keep her mouth shut, but she always had to ask. What are you trying to do with him? Sarah put her finger to her lips and stripped off the coat Sam was wearing, adding it to the pile of clothes on the floor. Then she proceeded to stuff them into the bathroom and shut the door before they remained. This is an awkward sentence too. What are you trying to do with him? Sarah put her finger to her lips and stripped off the coat Sam was wearing, adding it to the pile of clothes on the floor. Then she proceeded to stuff them into the bathroom and shut the door before reminding them to be quiet no matter what they heard. What felt like an eternity while heavy boots got closer, knocking on doors. Sarah took a deep breath. There would be no halfway to achieve success before pulling off her bra and underwear and adding it to the collection on the floor. She then climbed on top of the bed and then him. She wound the electric cord up and around the lamp, gripping it firmly. At the click of the handle turning, she began writhing on top of him, making small noises. She met the eyes of the invaders and screamed, then threw the lamp so it hit the wall just above their heads, as she screamed at them to get out, along with some curses. The large men made a hasty retreat and shut the door. She started to curse in the room in a deep voice. She carried on both sides of a conversation, coaxing herself back into the bed, and began to call out again and squeak the mattress rhythmically. She sped up the squeaking and then made a deep, throaty call, then turned on the TV at full blast to some sports channel. She crept over to the door and listened, but couldn't hear. I don't know why it littles there. She crept over the door and listened, but couldn't hear over the TV. Wrapping herself in a sheet, she poked her head into the bathroom. Don't you think they're gone? Should we chance involving one more person and call Martin to see if they've cleared the floor? They're gone. Should we chance involving one more person? We'll put a comment. And call Martin to see if they have cleared the floor. Sally offered. No. Just let's wait it out. Another 20 minutes should do. Then Sam and I will leave. Here is your charge cord, by the way. Sarah thanked the older woman, shoving. S-H-U, shove. S-H. I cannot spell shove right now. I'm going to use the computer to help me. Shoving. That's the word I'm looking for. And that must be lowercase. Shoving them back into the bathroom, then hurriedly plugging in her phone. I'm gonna put a she. She once again remounted. Oh, I see. Making it active. I'm going to leave it there. Oh, it could be then she. There we go. Then it's active. Sarah thanked the older woman, shoving them back in the bathroom and hurriedly plugging in her phone. Then she once again remounting the sleeping giant. And once again remounting the sleeping giant. That works. It's just not the traditional writing. His arm was more active, and he gripped her hips in his sleep. She stayed on top of him, remaining still, waiting, just in case she needed to produce another show. Her knees were starting to go numb, squatting over him. She shut her eyes and breathed deeply, trying to listen to the noises outside and relieve tension inside of her. She felt the grip on her hips become almost painful, and her eyes flashed open. For just a split second, she thought she saw him staring back at her, but she blinked and his eyes were still shut. The bathroom door cracked open. Give me a minute. Sarah hurriedly found her clothing and dressed. Okay, I'm decent. No, you're not. All for a good cause. Can you help me put his clothes back on him? It's a pity to do that. Sally pulled the covers away from him before scooping up his pants. They struggled, but between the three of them, they reassembled him. What were they planning to have a woman do with a man like this? He's limp all over. Maybe they picked the wrong medicine. Thank you, too. I owe you. And so does he. Have you heard from Billy? He texted me. He's on a bus coming back. Sarah collapsed on the bed, putting her head in her hands. One of the taut piano strings within her relaxed. She'd asked one of her dearest friends to do something far too dangerous. The giant on the bed was beginning to stir again. You two go back to work. My phone should be charged soon. I'll let you know whatever I can. The two of them left reluctantly. The giant was still and lightly snoring now. Sarah turned off the lights and opened the curtains before curling up on the couch. All she could do now is wait and nap. She woke, being levitated above the floor, and there was a pinching around her chest. She was having trouble focusing, and then finally steely blue eyes and an anger-red face came into focus. The handsome, snoring giant's looks had converted to a frightening mask. "What have you done to me, and who are you?" Her throat felt scratchy, and her mouth was dry. "I let you sleep, and I saved you from those people." "What? No, you're one of them." "No, I'm a staff member of the hotel. The bad guys were looking for a woman and said your room number. We decided to rescue you. We would like a reward." "What?" His face went darker, shade of red, as he shook her and threw her to the couch. "Check your pants. Nothing's happened to you. There are no cameras in the room. The other room had a camera. I threw it in a tub full of water." She shrugged one shoulder when he said nothing. "Well, I figured I needed to destroy whatever evidence they had on you and me if they were already filming. It might have also been a live feed, who knows. Anyways, you don't have a phone or a smartwatch. They went in the tub too. You searched my pockets but didn't take this." He found his wallet with cash and cards intact, throwing it in her lap. "Of course not, I'm not a thief. But you want me to reward you for kidnapping me." "Technically, we rescued you. Did not kidnap you." Wait, I need to reread that. "But you want me to reward you for kidnapping me." "Technically, we rescued you, did not kidnap you." She stomped. He stomped around the room a bit, then put out his large hand. "Give me your phone." She unlocked it and handed it up to him. "Where am I?" "The Regency on Blakewood, room 815. Although I might suggest you not have anyone come directly here. 802 is the room we found you in, and they've been searching. I'm going to put have instead. Have been searching for you." Oh, searching the rooms. The rooms. Although I might suggest you not have anyone come directly here. 802 is the room we found you in, and they've been searching the rooms. We could only manage to get you across the hall." "What? Where's my coat and my shoes?" "They went with Billy and are now in a dumpster somewhere far away from here. He ran out of the hotel pretending to be you to distract them." "Wait, what do you mean?" "To rescue you from the room we had from..." I'm going to say not the room. From room 804. 804, right? No, 2. See, this is why I write my notes. "To rescue you from room 802, we had to create a diversion. Sam made a big noise by dumping dishes, and Billy dashed out of the hotel in your coat and shoes, then booked it across the city." "Do you think I'm going to believe this?" Sarah shrugged her shoulders. "You can do all the background checks on me that you want. I have no grudge against you. I figure, though, if they're willing to spend $100,000 on a girl to have sex with you in hopes of pregnancy, and $10,000 finder's fee, you must be really important and would give us a nice reward if we rescued you." "How am I sure you're not in on this?" "Well, I'm not sure of your name. The men referred to you as the Bastard, so I don't know who I was rescuing you, but I figured you were a big shot." "You have no idea." The angry giant finally connected to someone on her phone. "Gomez, you have to clear the Regency." "No." The one on... He bore into her eyes. "Blakewood, 815. "Blakewood. It's a borrowed phone. I'll tell you the room number later." "Yes, pull all the security tapes. I need to confirm something." "No, I'll tell you where I am after you look through the security footage. I want to know who took me to..." "What room?" 802. 802. "And what time?" He flicked his eyebrows at her. "I made it to your room about 10. Before 10. No, I'm secure right now. I'll be at this number." Still looming over her and flipping her phone in his hand. He reached out to her and then pulled his hand back and collapsed on the edge of the bed. Pulled his hand back, not... He reached out to her, then pulled his hand back and collapsed on the edge of the bed, continuing to fiddle with her phone. So you rescued me out of the kindness of your heart. Oh no, I want the money. The money? She felt exasperated at this point. I want the money. Oh, I figured there's a reward for saving you. I see. Don't get me wrong, I'm no noble lady, and I'm not. She swallowed hard. And I work for money. We saved you last night, and we expect a reward. She shrugged her shoulders again. Her shoulder. I'm going to say singular. She shrugged her shoulder, because she does the one shoulder. That's her thing. She just does a shoulder. Well, at least you're direct. He tried to dial another number. Unlock it. Barnes, I need a new phone. Mine got wet. And a change of clothes. No, athletic wear. I need to be low-key. He narrowed his eyes at her. You need to do a little background for me. I want you to contact the Human Resources Department at the Regency on Blakewood. Nicely capitalized. Gomez is already pulling security tapes. She happily gave him their names. The only thing she truly had to fear was the sun. Oh, fear was that the sun was well up now, which meant she needed to be at school soon, or the system would call her parents and say she was ditching. Sir, may I borrow your sir, may I borrow my phone? It's important. I need to make a phone call. No. It's important. I have to let my next appointment know that I am not going to be there today, or people will be alerted and concerned for my absence. He narrowed his eyes on her. I can put it on speakerphone. Just tell me the number. I don't know the number. I have to look it up. Then come over here. He made her stand between his knees as he held the phone between them. She searched through her contacts. She knew it would be a voice recording and tried to cough as they announced the name of the school. She saw the flick of his eyes and knew he'd heard the name. She pressed a few more buttons and left a message of the correct place. That should forestall her parents being involved in her day. You're a high school student. She shrugged her shoulder. And how old are you? 17 last month. 17? Are you trying to tell me I was rescued by a 17-year-old? It's not about age, it's about wit and bravery. Her phone rang and he listened while staring at her. You say Sarah Smith is 32. She smiled at him, showing all her teeth. I am sending you a photo. He grabbed her around the waist and forced her to be still while he took photos until he was satisfied. This is the girl in my room. I need a full workup. Get the doctor to come too. She struggled in his arms. Don't worry, she's going nowhere. I won't go anywhere. I want to get paid. I have a picture of my school ID in my phone. So you're not 32. This is where I can put that line in that was funny, that I thought was funny. Maintenance. R-O-U-T-E. Routine. She batted her eyes at him. I would never mistake this skin for a 32-year-old's. I started working here at I'll rewrite this. Okay, so you're not 32. Good maintenance routine? She batted her eyes at him. I would never mistake this skin for 32-year-olds. I started working here at 14. I still cannot serve drinks here for another year, so yes, I used a fake ID to gain employment. Is your name Sarah? My first name is. Do you still live at home with your parents? No. That was the truth, though. That decision had been reached less than 12, though the decision... That was the truth, though. That was the truth, comma. Though the decision had been reached less than 12 hours before. Are you emancipated? No, and before you ask, I still have a year and a half left of high school. He still held her firmly around the waist, a small evil smile curving his lips. So, you're a junior. Do you need a date for the prom? I don't waste my money on trivial things like that. I work and study. That's all that I have time for. So, no one asked you. You're pretty enough. She struggled in his arms a bit until he squeezed her tighter. Do you have a boyfriend? Now you're just being creepy. Listen, my friends and I saved you from a horrible fate. I hope you're not the bad guy and I misjudged the situation. My friends and I saved you from a horrible fate. I hope you're... I need to get rid of this. I'm going to do you are not the bad guy and I judged the situation correctly. He only loosened his grip around her waist a bit. Her phone rang again. Sam's smiling face appeared on her screen. Your boyfriend? One of your saviors. Let me answer. Speaker. Is he still asleep? I'm going to say the giant. Giant, because I want to make sure we know who I'm talking about. The giant nodded his head yes. Are you okay? I should have been off 2 hours ago. I can bring you some food. There. I'm fine. How's Billy? He's good. He has to go to class. He said he would stay at his aunt's house until you give him the all clear. That's good. You good, comma. No, exclamation point. That's good. You all need to just go on with your lives as normal. Don't do anything out of line. Can you please let Billy know I'm okay? Sure. She hit the end button. Why did you call into school if you don't live with your parents? Why did you call into school, comma, if you don't live with your parents? No, that comma doesn't need to be, oh, yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it like that even though it's awkward. Why'd you call into school if you don't live with your parents? I don't need to keep people, I don't need to keep people, what? This is a weird sentence and it's bad. I don't need to keep people from being, I need to keep, here, get rid of the don't. I need to keep people, that's it, that was what's wrong. I need to keep people being from, that's it. I need to keep people from being alerted or concerned about my absenteeism. It would make my life difficult. Sam, is he your boyfriend? No, he's older, well at least as old as you, and married. Billy goes to school with you. Is his ID fake as well? No, he's in college. I've been to his class. I've been to class with him. You have been to class with him. Is he your boyfriend? He's my best friend, and I'm the one that talked him into this. We really could use the money. I really need the money, too. I'm going to get rid of this. We could really use the money. I don't want to go back home. I see, and you work here because I need money. Haven't you been listening? There. Your parents don't help? Who do you think takes my money? What do you mean? They don't know that I have a job. They don't know that I have this job. They don't know that I have this job. They think I just get scholarships at school and work part-time. They don't know I have this job. This job. They think I just get scholarships at school. Oh, I'm going to say from school. Scholarships for. They think I just get scholarships for school, which I do. They've already taken all that money, and I still need to eat. They don't know I have this job. They think I get... Oh. I'm going to say this full-time job. Time job. They think I just get scholarships for school, which I do, but they've already taken all that money, and I still need to eat. They don't feed you? She pursed her lips and shook her head no. I don't go home very often. It's better that way. So you're looking for a high-paying job? Always, but... She pointed her finger in his face. I'm not that sort of girl. That's why I work diligently and righteously in a hotel. I've done everything from cutting vegetables to cleaning toilets, but it's honest work. I'm hungry. He still had not released her, but his grip had slackened. Would you like me to get us food? He narrowed his eyes at her. You heard Sam is just getting off. Come on. He could bring us something. She could see him working his jaw and his tongue over his teeth. All right, call your friend. I'm very hungry. He pulled at her waist. She tried to remain calm. Anything you can't eat? No. New chapter. Although I'm really tired. I'll read this next bit and then I'm going to have to stop because I'm just really tired. 20 minutes later, there was a small knock at the door and her phone buzzed. It's Sam. He says the hallway's clear. She tried to push out of his embrace when the door opened. When the door opened, it needs to be a comma. Just here. She tried to push out of his embrace, but when the door opened, when the door opened, he finally released her, and she quickly sat on the couch. There, that fixed it. That whole little thing's been bothering me. Then a freckled redhead, looking all his 30 years plus some, came through the door. His clear brows went up at the sight of the giant's scowling face. Sarah, are you okay? I'm fine. He's just slept the whole time. Good morning, sir. Sarah, did you respond to Billy? He's been worried. May I check my phone? The giant grudgingly passed her the phone. There was a text that must have come while she slept. Okay, eating with Sam and the giant, stay in class. Did you have any trouble, Sam? No. I did get yelled at by Bernard and sent to the 10th floor to do rooms, but I'm fine. Have you rescued people before? Sam uncovered all the dishes and pulled up a chair, crossing his legs and speaking conspiratorially. Well, the occasional girl who's been dragged into a room, or someone far too drunk. The guys in the bar, they're such victims. Such idiots. When and if I ever do drink, I will not be doing it in public. and your reason. Because I've seen too much. I worked in the bar far too long for it to hold any fascination for me. Yes, with your 32 years. Sam just looked confused. Sarah, if you're going to be okay, I'm going to leave the food. I'm just going to leave the food. I still have 10 things to do before I need to clock out. Thank you, Sam. I checked. You never clocked in. Here, you see, Sarah. S-A-R-H. Sarah, comma. I want to make sure we know who's talking. He's talking to. Sarah, I checked, comma. You never clocked in. I wasn't working last night. I was going to try to pick up an extra shift when I came across this one. And you're going to be okay with him? Yes, Sam, I'm going to be fine. He has called his people to come get him. I promise you'll get your share. I'm more worried about you than the money. Sam extended his hand. This is out of order, but I'm Sam and you are. You don't need to know my name. The redhead scrunched his face and tipped his head. At least the first name, so we don't refer to you in a derogatory manner. We will give you a terrible nickname, like Bed Bunny or Sleeping Beauty. She giggled. That's it. She said it. Sleeping Beauty it is. I don't need to know your name now. Sam dropped his hand. Sleeping Beauty said he was hungry, and so am I. Thank you. Sam snorted and started towards the door. All right, Sleeping Beauty, it was nice to meet you. I'm going to put it this way, because we haven't met him. We don't know his name yet. That's what I needed to fix. A-G-I-A-N-T was furious, but these people did not need to know any more about him than they already did. Or they already did. It needs to be did. You call me. You call me. You call me. You call me. You call me if you have any problems, little girl. There. Here we go. Do you know what's Sam? I'm going to tell you something. Sarah took his arm and leaned in on him. I'm going to tell you something about Sleeping Beauty. What? I don't know what their plan was for that man. I mean, why were they bringing him a woman? But he was out cold. I mean, out. A woman wouldn't have been able to do anything with him anyways. I don't think anyone would have been compromised. They could have taken compromising pictures. True, but certainly there would have been no pregnancy to be concerned about. She laughed and put her finger up and then bent it down. Sam snorted again. All right, I understand. You be good. The redhead nodded and pushed. The redhead nodded and pushed the... I got a couple extra letters in there. The cart. Not card. Cart. C-A-R-T. Cart out of the room, shutting the door behind him. The click of the lock was loud in the quiet room. Her phone rang again from an unlabeled number, and an angry older woman's voice pierced the room. Why didn't you come home last night? Are you out whoring still? Your brother needs that money. How dare you disgrace the family? Mom, I was working. Don't. Yes, on your back. I know you very well. Sarah rolled her eyes and dropped to the couch. The pimp didn't pay, so I have no money for you. There was a screech on the other end. Sarah simply lowered her shoulders and ended the call. Do you often talk to your mother that way? Never. I'm just over it. You lied again. You still live at home. Last night was my end. I'm never going back. Because you took care of me. No, I've already made that decision before. I was going to move into the dorms here. Billy told me he didn't think they had any room. I was going to have to bunk with someone. Were you going to bunk with Billy? No, I already told him that. Are you? Am I what? Your mother's quite convinced you're impure. Well, my mother has a very dirty mind, and she's never liked me. How can you say that about your mother? You heard her. That's a normal conversation from her end. Jack couldn't understand parents like that. He knew they existed. Is she your stepmother? No, she's my mother. My father's a stepfather. Oh, does he bother you? Yes. Jack's. No, I guess maybe instead of the giant up there, I could leave it as Jack, because this is the first time we've heard, like, he's like, what's your name? And he's not telling them. I'm going to change it back because it felt right at the time. Jack was furious. Go back here. Here we go. G-O, oh my goodness. O-I, going to tell you something about, okay. That's a colloquialism he uses, that's why it's a weird thing. Okay, her phone rang again from an unlabeled number. Okay, we did that. No, I've already made that decision before I was going to move into the dorms here. Billy told me he didn't think they had any room. I was going to have to bunk with someone. Are you going to bunk with Billy? No, and I already told him that. Are you? Am I what? Your mother's quite convinced you're impure. Well, my mother has a very dirty mind, and she's never liked me. I'm going to put an and in there because, comma, A-N-D, she, because it makes sense. Well, my mother has a very dirty mind, and she's never liked me. There, that flows so much better. How can you say that about your mother? You heard her. That's a normal conversation from her end. Jack couldn't understand parents like that. He knew they existed. Is she your stepmother? Is she your? It needs to be, oh, Y-O-U-R. I lift two letters out. Is she your stepmother? No, she's my mother. My father's the stepfather. Oh, does he bother you? Yes. Ah, Jack's. Seized. Let's try this again. Seized. That's the word. And that needs to be a little too much space. Jack's heart seized. Then she continued. He always wants money for gambling. He's a big gambler. That's where all the money goes. My brother's not much better. And your brother is? Pardon me. A little brother. He's 16 in a month, and my mom wants to buy him a car. He can't keep track of a phone. How could he have a car? I gotta fix this. C-O-U-L-T. Yeah, he can't. A phone, how could he have a car? Anyways, he doesn't work. Your mother knows you have a job. Yes, she thinks I work at a grocery store stocking shelves late at night. That is where she thinks I am, and don't tell her any different. Once in a while she goes down there and throws a tantrum, and I get a call from old friends. Really? Yes, and then I appear and let her rant at me. So that's what she thinks you're... Okay, I gotta stop. I am on page 32. You didn't really add numbers, but I am going to pause this here. Well, stop it and load it up because my eyeballs are hurting. Good night, all.